By the midst of the decade of the 70s, congenital malformations became evident as cause of growing importance in children mortality. Among these, and with a high frequency, those defects associated to the closing neural tube. Then science was on demand, and the lack of own and appropriate solutions to our conditions, which could challenge the increasing new health problems. In the laboratories from the National Center for Scientific Research, a group of researchers started to think of science. Work to detect congenital malformations began in the alpha-fetoprotein quantification system as the first stage of a much deeper determination effort to reach the massive screening by means of immunoassay tests. It was then that the seed of a work flourishing with the creation of the Center of Immunoassay germinated, and supported by Suma, ultra-microanalytical system technology, it embraces an integral system of reagents, equipment, programs, and after-sales services, facilitating the massive study and diagnostics of a great number of diseases through active screenings, allowing their detection at initial stages. Hence, a battle still continuing started that way, creating, developing, and expanding Suma technology, an unquestionable scientific achievement with significant saving of reagents, speed, precision, and reliability in its results. Tecno International S.A. is the biotechnological company for the commercialization of Suma technology developed and produced by the Center of Immunoassay. In our business portfolio, laboratory equipment, as well as kits for the early diagnostics and follow-up of different diseases are found, specially designed as support of the massive screening health problems and integrated to the 5 main groups of programs. All of our business portfolio products is developed and produced at the Center of Immunoassay, an industry of the Cuban biotechnology with more than 25 years of experience, counting with professional personnel of the most advanced scientific level and with high technological and automation facilities. Laboratories, automated workshops, and production plants provided by equipment of high productivity, allowing us to dispose of novel and of very high quality in the techniques of immunoassay Suma products for the market. The immunochemistry plant guarantees the research, development, and production of a powerful portfolio of 33 reagent kits for the diagnosis of 19 pathologies. These diagnosticators are used in the active screening programs to identify the risk factors and to permit the early diagnostics of people suffering from or under risk of suffering from a specific disease just before the appearance of the symptoms. This is able to boost therapeutic options, diminishes eventual complications and mortality, improves the quality of life of the affected, and reduces the general costs of the health system, since it limits the amount of patients evolving to advanced stages of the disease. The development and consolidation of effective primary care policies include the massive screenings in pregnant women at the prenatal stage, aimed at the early detection of congenital malformations and to avoid the vertical transmission of the hepatitis B and HIV viruses from the mother to the fetus. the diagnostics in the newly born and the prevention of the inherited metabolic diseases before they could induce to clinical symptomatology and to special relevance, where consequences like the severe mental retardation and other manifestations could be reverted by means of an intervention in the diet or a hormonal therapy supplied during the child's first month being born. Aimed at such purposes, SS for the early diagnostics of congenital hypothyroidism, phenylketonuria, adrenal congenital hyperplasia, biotinidase, and galactosemia deficit had been developed. The prevention of acquired infectious diseases through blood transfusion and its derivatives is an utmost objective of the current practice in transfusional medicine. In blood certification, the presence of antibodies against the virus of acquired immunodeficiency types 1 and 2, the hepatitis C and hepatitis B surface antigen, is studied. Currently, infectious diseases constitute a great health problem. That is why epidemiological surveillance is so important. Our center has developed the basis for HIV screening, hepatitis B, C, dengue, leprosy, Chagas, and tetanus. Cancer constitutes one of the first causes of death worldwide, and it provokes expending considerable resources in the confrontation to the disease. Our institution has developed a kit of reagents for the quantification of specific prostate antigen, which constitute a tumor marker associated to the prostate malignant disease. Likewise, we own a quick test for the detection of gastrointestinal bleeding, considered as a risk factor of colorectal cancer or other precursor or associated pathologies of this. Moreover, protein purification, monoclonal and polyclonal antibody production, and that of synthetic antigens and of all necessary antiserums and fully guaranteed in the productive process. The quality control of all our diagnosticators is governed by the regulation issued by the SECMED, Reference Center of World Health Organization for the American continent. As a fundamental axis, we have the assessment of the functional characteristic of each lot of diagnosticator, for which different sample panels manufactured in our own center are assayed, apart from using commercial controllers of renowned international companies. The certification to each lot is complemented with a packing inspection, assessing that it complies with the previous confirmation stage. The first release of each lot is endorsed with the using of a quality certificate valid in the national territory and in all the countries where our diagnosticators are exported. Instrumentation plant has developed and produced 19 generation of tools and high-precision laboratory equipment and high automation level, among which we find PR621, a fluorometer photometer designed to perform readings of fluorescence and absorbance in UMELISA and microELISA strips. MW2001 Pro Wash, automatic equipment allowing the washing up of plates and UMELISA and microELISA strips. Orific. It can perform the automatic punching of blood samples collected in filter paper of 96 position plates of the conventional microELISA techniques. It offers the possibility to illuminate the sample to be perforated, as well as the detection and automatic dispensation of the perforated filter paper. ISO 410, Equipment of extensive use in laboratories where sample processing allows to pipette mean density and viscosity liquids, making use of a 96-channel bolster working in parallel, facilitating to pipette volumes between 5 microliters and 200 microliters. Technological kit for the early diagnostics and treatment of cervix cancer and their precursor lesions. Suma Scope Digital Electronic Colposcope. The digital video colposcope is an equipment destined to the observation of the neck of the uterus. It is used in gynecology medical consultations to examine the interior of the vagina and to evaluate the topography, coloration, configuration, angular architecture, and alteration degree. This equipment zooms the image of the external part of the uterine neck and allows storing the image taken together with each patient's data for its further comparison. Sumacraft, electrosurgery equipment generating radiofrequency electric current aimed at cutting or clotting tissues. Aspirol, a vapors aspirator with a disposable filter destined to the aspiration of the emissions generated in surgeries performed with high-frequency scalpels. It is the suitable one to be used together with the Sumacraft electrosurgical equipment. Sterile kit, disposable for cytology sample taking PAP, includes plastic speculum, microscope, slide plate, plastic box to keep the microscope slide plate with cytological sample, air spatula, endocervical brush, cotton applicator, and 60 per 60 centimeters sheet. Sterile kit, disposable or gynecological exam. It includes plastic speculum and 60 per 60 centimeters sheet. VS 850, a spectral photometer of general purpose to perform clinical chemistry assays. Esteroflex. Based on the principle of center arc, it allows performing different minimum access stereotaxic surgeries, being able to face any superficial or deep structure of the brain. Instrumentation equipment go through a rigorous quality control process for their certification, where they are assessed of their technical specifications with the use of patterns and in compliance with the measurements and necessary assays, guaranteeing a high reliability degree of the finished product. Department of Mathematics and Applied Programming. It develops the computation systems used in the activity of our laboratories, offering tools for the automation of the tasks carried out in them and the applications aimed at facilitating the interaction between the equipment and the reagents for the diagnostics. Our center, on-site plant for the production of glucose biosensors, destined to reinforce the program for the control of diabetes mellitus. It has a high production capacity that satisfies clients. In the quality control laboratory of the plant, the analytic conditions to perform tests leading to decision-taking on the acceptance of the product are prepared. Conditions are created for the compliance with the good manufacturing practices annually issued by the SECMEC. Likewise, raw materials to be used at the production process are assessed and finally accepted. Tecno International SA commercializes medical products and equipment, offers services in general and specially of Suma technology, guarantees the wholesale commercialization of right to patents, registration and licenses related with these products and equipment, as well as of all kinds of merchandise related with the activity of medical diagnostics. Tecno Suma International SA owns ISO 9001-2008 certification since 2005. In the commercialization, sales, and after-sale services of medical products and equipment, and general services, especially of Suma technology, endorsed by the National Office of Normalization and by the Veritas Bureau, under which an unquestionable reliability of its customers is guaranteed in respect to the quality of the products and services it renders. To this end, the permanent revision of the quality management system guarantees the continuous and sustained improvement for the satisfaction, understanding of the needs, and the purpose of exceeding the current and future expectations of its customers. From the very beginning, the specialized services Tecno Suma International SA brings make customers becoming members of an important part of the Suma family, among which we need to mention installation and setting in march of equipment and services, analytic and instrumental technical assistance performed in a corrective preventive way or at customer's request, technical training and upgrading of the personnel who works with the technology, scientific advisory for the design and implementation of appropriate strategies for the early diagnostics and the opportune treatment of diseases. All these services are supported in a net of branch houses and representations, assisting more than 1,500 services around the world. From all this, 1,000 in Cuba and more than 550 in countries like Mexico, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, Argentina, China, Angola, among others. We are committed jointly with customers in the elaboration of the annual plans of the reagents. We also take notice of the modifications which could be originated in them. We perform exceptional deliveries to customers and monitor our stock in order to guarantee the permanent supply, which will ensure bringing an opportune service of high quality. The constant increment of the net of laboratories and other services of Suma technology demands of well technically trained specialists to achieve the correct performance of technology, handling, and functioning. In our facilities, by means of diverse educational modalities, consolidation, upgrade, renovation, and improvement courses on the advances in the field of diagnostics, application software, and equipment are developed. Technical training, both theoretical and practical, are delivered to our customers by high qualification specialists so that they may acquire the necessary knowledge to properly apply Suma technology and guarantee rendering high quality, reliable services. The vision of Tecno Suma International SA is to reach and maintain high levels of efficiency, professionalism, and competitiveness in all commercial and managerial activity in the different markets, thus guaranteeing the full satisfaction of customers, maintaining excellent relations with its suppliers, and positioning among the world-leading companies at international level dedicated to massive screening. Always with the certainty of our slogan, Tecno Suma International, the option of preventing.